COVID-19 has affected people in many different ways. We wear masks in grocery stores now. Our favorite activities have been shut down, and a lot of people have lost their jobs. But I want to talk about a part of COVID that has frustrated so many different people: distance learning. You see, I work at an after-school program, so I'm like the middleman between children because I help the children with their homework, and I communicate with the teachers and the parents about expectations of the children. And of the 5.5 weeks that school's been in session, I've learned one thing: distance learning isn't working. So to prove it, I'm going to talk about the effects of distance learning on children, parents, and teachers. So with children, there is little to no one-on-one time with teachers. Yes, teachers will do one-on-one Zoom meetings with the kids, but it's hard for them to concentrate when looking at a screen as opposed to being in person. And some children depend on that one-on-one time to ask questions, to get extra explanations of a lesson, or for just extra practice. So my second point about children is socialization is none. There's no socialization. So it's super important for a child's development to be socialized. You know, it helps make children more civilized. And that's a huge problem for children during distance learning because they're not getting that socialization that they truly need. And there's no time on the Zoom calls for kids to have private conversations with each other and socialize that way because teachers need that time to teach them. And the third point about children and distance learning is that there are a lot of frustrations with technology. You see, everybody, children, teachers, parents, everybody gets frustrated and they struggle with technology, and it sort of hinders children's education. Children shouldn't be sitting in front of a computer for 4 hours. Okay, so now I want to talk about the effects of distance learning on parents. So number one, children are home all day. So if they work, then they need to try to find a way to provide childcare to look after their children while they're on their Zoom calls and help their children out. Or if they're if they're working from home, then it's hard for them to work and take care of their child and help their child with their schooling and everything. And also, not all families have Wi-Fi. Not all parents can afford Wi-Fi. And that's a huge problem because with distance learning, they need Wi-Fi. Okay. Also, there's no alone time for the parents to recharge because the children are home all day. So, the mom can't go and get a glass of wine or whatever because she needs to be paying attention to her child. Second, most parents are not teachers. So some don't even remember how to help their children with the schoolwork. Like, that's what they depend on teachers for. But because the kids get less time with the teacher, they expect more from the parent, and the parent is probably going to have a hard time helping them, especially with Common Core and the fact that they don't know how to do some of the things that Common Core expects. And also, parents should not have to be a parent, a teacher, a maid, a chef, and a full-time or part-time worker. It's an insane expectation, and I just feel like distance learning needs to end for the sake of these parents. So third, I want to talk about the effects on teachers. So first, they had to build a brand new education system out of scratch because of distance learning. They had to quickly adjust to new technologies and new programs to give to their children and to put their work in. And they had to provide the same curriculum in different forms. So they had to take what would have been, I don't know, like handout worksheets and put it on a Google slide or something like that. They're having to be more dependent on parents. And some parents are super hard to get a hold of, or when a child needs help, or in my experience, you will ask a parent to do something and they'll say, yeah, okay, I'll do it, and then they don't do it. I've had that experience working at the after school program, and it's very frustrating. The parents also don't ask teachers enough questions. Some of them have too much pride when it comes to helping their kids out, and so they won't want to ask the teacher how to do it. They'll want to do it their own way, and that can result in the children getting their homework wrong. So the last thing about teachers I want to talk about is the fact that they're working more hours for the same salary. So they're doing half and half days. And so they're working 4 hours with this class and then 4 hours with this class. 8 hours of Zoom with kids who hardly pay attention. And so they also have hours of prep before and then hours of prep after the Zoom lessons, to try to get their lessons into a format that's more compatible with the new education system. So, in conclusion, distance learning is frustrating for everyone involved. I have observed these effects firsthand, and I just feel like children need to go back to a learning environment that's proven to work. So, if daycares and preschools can be open, if stores and restaurants can be open, and if masks and social distancing work, then why can't we end all of this frustration and open schools up?